Welcome to another episode of D5. I'm your host, Matt Kempter. On today's episode, I'm joined by my long-term teammate, as well as the last couple of these guys. Played AAU with Pat on Team Speed, as well. I brought a couple other Team Speed guys on here before, Mikey DePerja, Babatunde Ajike. But Pat, one of my long-term AAU teammates, longtime rival, used to play travel basketball against him since I was in fourth grade. He went to Camden Catholic for high school, played for Kevin Owens, the CEO of Overseas Famous, and he is currently playing now at Susquehanna. They unfortunately lost in the round of 32 of the NCAA Division III tournament, but they had a great season winning their conference. Excited to hear from Pat. But before that, I kind of wanted to get into the NCAA tournament and the championship game and the Final Four that happened this weekend. I'll start off with the Final Four games. Villanova, been a fan of them for a while. Really sad to see them fall to the eventual champion, Kansas. No, I really thought that Villanova's lack of depth and then Justin Moore going down to a torn Achilles was a huge reason why they lost. And then also, Kansas just had more talent, more size, more depth. And eventually that just really prevailed in the Final Four game. I mean, it also really helps Kansas that their guard goes 6 for 7 from deep from the whole game. And also in the first 8 minutes of the game, he was 4 for 4. As a college player now, it's really hard to stop that. I mean, you could always just say, don't let the guy catch the ball, but it's a lot easier said than done, especially when you have four other threats out there on the court. And the other game, which in my opinion, I would say is the most hyped up college basketball game probably ever, at least in my lifetime. I was trying to think today which games would be considered more hyped up than this game, Duke UNC, and I couldn't find anything. I mean, Coach K, before he goes into the last home game against UNC, he's 50-48 against UNC all time. Loses the last home game against UNC, 50-49. Loses the NCAA tournament Final Four game against UNC, now 50-50. For him, that's gotta really sting. I get it, you don't want to chalk up your entire career, but losing to a rival twice in a row to end your career, and then also making that your record 50-50 all time, it's got to be a little bit frustrating. And I think for North Carolina, that even though they didn't win the national championship, you could say that they had a great season, and their season was really all they could ask for. They ruined Coach K's last home game. They ruined Coach K's last NCAA tournament. They ruined Coach K's last Final Four appearance, and they ruined his last game. I think even though you didn't win, you can win the national championship, and I know that's the end goal. You could still argue here and say they had a great season and exceeded all of their expectations. Now, that championship game was also a hell of a game, very well played game. I kind of took it as a game of runs. Kansas goes up early, 7-0. Then eventually UNC battles back, and then they get this huge lead, and then they blow it. And again, I think kind of like similar to the Villanova game, UNC's lack of depth, Baycott going down at the end, kind of was the reason why they lost. And like the game against Villanova, Kansas' talent, size, and depth really just prevailed. And they were a great team this year. I don't know if they were maybe the best team in college basketball, but they definitely proved to be the best, I guess, in the Final Four in the championship game. That's about it for the college basketball talk here. And here's your guest, Patrick Corbett. Joined here by my former AAU teammate, longtime high school travel basketball rival, Patrick Corbett. How you doing, Pat? Currently a guard at Susquehanna. Just had a nice NCAA tournament run, nice season. How you doing, Pat?
Man, I'm doing well. Trying to get by here with all the different activities, different lifts, all that, but doing well.
Yeah, how's like your off-season schedule? Like, what are you guys doing right now? What's it all consist of?
Yeah, so actually right now we're pretty busy. Being a D3, you probably don't think we're as busy as D1s. But right now our off season is consisting of lifting 3 times a week, playing pickup 4 times a week, and then we break off into skills group 3 times a week. So the point guards, have workouts with the point guards, forwards go with the forwards, and then the centers with the centers. And then with all that, we're still, expected to get into the gym on our own, get shots up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much same thing over here. Just like doing the same thing, pick up a couple
Yeah.
times a week, lifting a couple times a week. People don't realize like everyone thinks it's just like Division 1 that has like these busy schedules, but like
Hmm.
we still have our nose to the grind. Like our season ended like your season ended later than ours did, but ours ended probably like month and a half ago, and we're already back like 4, 5, 6 times a week. And I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, like the grind does not stop.
Yeah.
The only time we kind of get a break is when we go home in the summer. But even then, you're working out
Yeah, you're
with
still
your
getting
boys
up
at
and
home.
every day working out, lifting and all that.
Exactly. So, but once you step on campus, like basketball owns you.
Yeah.
From August to May, essentially, it just owns you.
Especially like in the preseason, our preseason, like it's hell. It's not hell.
Oh yeah,
I love it, but like a lot of people do not like it. And a lot of people can't take it. Like getting up, we have like conditioning at like 6 in the morning, and it's like it's hard to get up for that. And especially when you wake up and it's like 5:30, and you're like, fuck, I got to go run. A lot of running
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We did a couple early morning conditionings, couple early morning lifts preseason, and it sucks, but it's like, all right, it really shows how much love you have for the game. None of
Oh
us
yeah,
are here on a scholarship. Like,
we're paying to play college basketball. That's what people like forget. We're paying to play the game that we love. Like you really have to love it, and it's not a cheap price that we're paying either.
right, right, and the dedication, the time, you have to spend with the game. If you don't love it, you might as well just stop playing right there because it really is a full-time job.
No, I agree. I mean, I feel like if I take even like a day off, I feel like a little bit off compared to like everybody else on my team. Like we play pickup and I don't shoot the day before. I'm like, damn, like I really can tell like I didn't shoot the day before. Like I didn't shoot well today.
You ain't lying, brother.
And in high school it was like, whatever. Like you can get
Oh
by.
yeah.
You're so much better than some kids.
Well, it's like high school. You show up to practice like 10 minutes before practice, do like one of these, and
Yeah.
you're good to go. Here, I'm showing up an hour before practice, how to get in the hot tub, get the leg sleeves going, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world though.
No, I completely agree with that. Now, like in 2019, you guys won the landmark. Drew won it in 2020, but like, how much like was winning the landmark a goal for your team this season?
So it's actually funny you said that. Prior to the season, we had a team meeting, and we came up with this list of goals and standards that we have for this year. And the first goal, obviously, was to win the landmark. We felt that we, lost a couple guys that graduated the year prior, but we felt that, we were very strong coming into this year, that it was very pivotal for us to win the landmark again. We're in such a good spot. We have good bigs. We had tremendous shooters, very good ball handlers. So it was a very important goal for us this year. But as we had also, a couple other important goals as well, that we tried to accomplish.
So like when you guys won the landmark, how much did that mean for your team? How excited were you guys as a group?
Um, we were actually very, very excited. Even though most of us have won one before, back in 2019. However, we thought that we would have won it again the following year, but we didn't get a chance to compete. So this championship is a little different. It was almost like, we're letting the rest of the league know that you got by easy last year because, weren't there. So it definitely did mean a little bit more this year.
We played you guys this year. You guys beat us by a pretty good amount. We also played Drew too, and I thought you guys were like significantly better than Drew. Like Drew was really athletic and they had a lot of good players, but I thought you guys were just so much better than Drew. Just like the way you guys played and shared the ball, and especially like you said earlier, you guys shot the shit out of the ball. Like, you guys can shoot it.
We Dominic and Lucas right off the bat right there, one,
Yeah.
two tremendous shooters. But even Howie was a good shooter. We had a couple of freshmen, Steven Ressler and Cooper. They were very good shooters coming off the bench for us. So, it's nice when you get in there, you draw some help, and you just have, three shooters on the outside. And you're picking your poison. Which one do you want to make the shot?
Mhm. Like kind of we were talking about like the grind that Division 3 players go through, especially like at basketball. When you guys win, like I feel like it almost makes these younger guys want to buy in more because it's like, wow, like we did all this and we accomplished our goal. Like I want to get back to that again. Like, do you feel the same way about that?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a hard transition coming from high school to freshman year in college. And like you hit the nail on the head there when you said they're not as bought in. And it's true.
It's not because
We
they
had a
don't want
couple
to
guys.
be bought in my opinion, but it's
Right.
because they just don't know what it takes and what goes into
Right.
winning at this
Exactly.
level, in my opinion.
Exactly. They're used to one practice a day. Like I
Mhm.
said, show up 10 minutes before. You're better than half the opponents just by showing up. And it's not like that when you get to college basketball. So it takes a little longer for them to fully buy in. Why am I doing a 6:30 conditioning? Like I never had to do this before type. But once they saw what it takes, the process and then how it pays out, and so you do what it takes, you can win some championships. They definitely have bought in more. I can just say that from the workouts we're doing in spring right now. They're going so much harder than they did in the fall. So I just think that's a testament to us winning the landmark this year.
How much does like your coach like preach that hard work and dedication to you guys?
Um, he preaches it so much that one time we got our butts kicked by SWAT.
Oh,
Where
they're pretty good. They're good.
from experience, you
Yeah.
play them. They're very, very good team, very well coached as well. And then, they kicked their ass. They beat us by 30, I believe. Next day we're in film, and he's just ripping people for not getting in the gym enough, getting shots up. And this is mid-season. It's like, coach, we're already in the gym for 5 hours a day with practice, film, weight room, and we got to go to class. Like, we want to get in the gym, get more shots up. And he's like, yeah, you gotta do what it takes. It's not easy, but winning championships aren't easy as well.
Yeah. But like you said in the beginning of the season, you guys had some rough points. But was there any points that you thought to yourself like, damn, like this team might be special. Like we have a really good chance to win the landmark, go pretty far in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think for me that game was Ursinus. It was
They were pretty good too. They could shoot the ball. I remember our coach saying to us they have the most efficient offense in the entire country. I was like, what? Really?
yeah, they were a very good team. They could shoot the hell out of the ball.
Mhm.
Had very good ball handlers. Ryan Hughes, I thought, was a very, very good
Unbelievable.
player. Um, so yeah, to me, I think that was the game where it's like, okay, like something special is brewing here. It was a back and forth game. Probably the reason why we won is because we just had such an older team, while they were a little bit younger and inexperienced. But it showed us that, okay, we can go to, travel almost 3 hours away to some other team we've never played ever before, get in an up and down. And we played a game that they want to play. They want to get up and down and shoot as many threes as possible. So we got into playing their game, and we stole it from them at their place. So that to me was the clicking point where we got the horses not only on defense but on offense too.
I kind of want to get your perspective here. So you guys win the landmark. You're going to the NCAA tournament. What are your team's expectations? What are you guys thinking going into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, so obviously your expectations going in is you're trying to win, no matter if you're the 1 seed or if you're the last seed in it. So that's your first expectation. But we actually even though we got paired up in CNU's bracket, side of the bracket, and had to go there and play them, we thought we were still in a good position to actually reach the Sweet 16. We thought, we were playing very well. We won, I think, 16 or 17 games in a row up until that point. We thought we had a very favorable matchup against Rowan as well, because they haven't really seen a zone against like the zone we play. And then we said, if we can get past Rowan, we play solid, don't shoot ourselves in the foot against CNU, we can really, really give ourselves a chance to beat them and advance to the Sweet 16.
So you were kind of saying like how like it doesn't matter what seed you come in as in the NCAA tournament. Like you saw this year at D1, St. Peter's is making a run. It's a 15, or they made a run as a 15 seed. How much do you think like the Division 3 seeding matters? Because I feel like in D3 it means even less than it does in D1. Because a lot of these people like may not know that like teams because their strength of schedule isn't as strong or whatever like that bullshit is. But like, what do you think about that?
So I actually think seeding kind of matters a little bit more in D3, only because if you're a higher seed, you get to host the games.
Mhm.
Whereas D1, it's hosted by some other city that doesn't really have any affiliation with the teams in that side of the tournament. So I think that, the host teams getting to host it in their actual gym with their students, be able to just walk 5 minutes across campus. I think that's a tremendous advantage to have. But besides that, you still got to lace them up, throw the ball up and just play.
Yeah.
There was the first week of the D3 tournament, there was actually a lot of upsets that happened. So, they don't, at the end of the day, the seeds don't matter, but I do think it's a little bit more advantageous to be a higher seed D3 tournament just because you get to host a couple games.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that because like they watch the NCAA tournament, like the Division I tournament, and then they see like all these games are just at neutral sites. I'm like, well, yeah, because
Right.
they make a lot more money. But like,
Hmm.
like you kind of said, like the playing at home, I feel like gives you such an advantage because you get to shoot on your own rims. You get to bring the
That.
home crowd in. Like you're just comfortable to the environment. Like how do you think that factored into like CNU and their success, and then the game against CNU for you guys?
Yeah, that was definitely the big advantage they had. Their game before, not as much. They kind of steamrolled Baruch, but against us, we went on a run late. And I think, if it was at a neutral site or if we were home, we had, a little bit more of a crowd in our favor, they, got a little jittier, maybe make a turnover here or two. But, they had their own crowd there. Things were getting crazy, not the crowd noise wasn't elevating or anything like that. So they're definitely able to stay, more calm with that. And like you said, too, being able to shoot on your own rims that you shot on, if you're a senior for 4 years straight, that's a huge advantage to have too, especially late game when you hit a couple, free throws late. Maybe you need a nice bucket at the end of the game. So that definitely helped them out a lot.
So during the season, did you guys travel and actually stay over at any games during the season?
So unfortunately, we did not. CNU, the NCAA tournament, was our first stayover event this year. We were supposed to go to Miami this year for a
Mhm.
holiday tournament. Fortunately, they weren't able to get enough teams together, so they had to cancel it last minute. But yeah, that was actually our only, stay away kind of tournament.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wish that we could do more of at Division III. Kind of just like travel somewhere, stay over for a night, like kind of like brings back like AAU type vibes. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like going out to tournaments, driving out with the team. Like you build so many memories. Like, do you think that you had like more fun going over to Christopher Newport, staying over with the team for the night, and then coming back? You think that's better than just driving there and driving back right after the game?
oh absolutely. Even the night we lost, we still stayed drive back home right away. And that at first it kind of sucks. You're like, all right, let's go home. Like I'm done with this. But an hour goes by, you're all together. You start reminiscing about the season. Oh, you remember when so and so did this? You remember that game junior year? You can just go down memory lane, um, and it was awesome. So I do think like you said, it is a lot better to stay there, build the team chemistry more than rather just take the bus trip down there, play, come back home.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like for us, especially, we've gotten screwed kind of with COVID a little bit. We missed like a lot of the experiences from our sophomore year. Did you guys play at all like your sophomore year?
Now, our conference did, but our school shut us down.
Yeah, same with us. Our conference was completely shut down. School pretty much completely shut down too. So I feel like we really missed like a lot of experiences, which is why I wish we can almost replace them with traveling and staying over in hotels and stuff. Now
Yeah,
what were you saying?
I said I don't know if like what you guys do, but usually we try like our coach tries to get us once every 4 years, so like every class can go through a holiday tournament, like either in Puerto Rico or
Mhm.
Miami. He's taking some teams out to Vegas and Hawaii, so he tries. But like you said, with COVID, we kind of got screwed over with that.
Yeah, same. Like our coaches kept saying to us, he was like, "Yo, we're gonna get you a foreign trip. We're gonna go overseas." And then like every year, it's like, "Well, we would go this year, but because of like the COVID restrictions, like we're not gonna be able to. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to go this time." And I'm like, "Oh, it
Right.
sucks. Like, I want to go play overseas, get to experience that like so many other schools and
Oh
players
yeah.
have before."
Now let me ask you a question. Would you have rather do a holiday tournament like during winter break, or would you have rather gone to like Europe during summer for like a week or two?
Um, I think I'd have to do Europe because I'm sure you're seeing this too. Like all of our friends from home, all of our friends from growing up are all doing, like, even all my friends from school, they're all going abroad. And like every
Right.
time I'm like, yo, how was it? How was it? They're like, it was awesome. The best experience of my life. Would do it over again if I could. And I feel like because like basketball spans into 2 semesters. So for
Exactly.
us, it's like practically impossible to do it. We just can't do it, which I really want to go overseas. But like also I do know a lot of colleges that do the winter tournaments, and I think that'd be a really good trade off because it's going to be like too hard to go overseas right now.
Right.
I think that'd be an awesome trade off. What about you?
I would say the holiday tournament, just because Susquehanna actually has a requirement to graduate that you have to go abroad and study.
Mhm.
An opportunity where you can go long, which is a semester. But like you just said, basketball goes in the first and second semester, so we can't do that. And then they also offer a go short program, which is 3 weeks in the summer. So maybe a couple nights in Iceland this summer, to end of May and like the beginning of June for a couple weeks.
Why Iceland? What made you choose Iceland?
So they give you some options to choose from, and you get to choose two of those options. They only had 6 options this year. They've been having trouble arranging professors to go on the trips with us because of COVID, and some countries are still
Mhm.
aren't like too happy letting people in with COVID, all that. So there's only 6 options this year, and Iceland was actually the most intriguing option. They have us go, well, climb some volcanoes, mountains, see the Mid Atlantic Ridge. So that was the most intriguing. We also chose Hawaii as our second option, but 40 some kids applied for that, and they only take 16. So that was a hard one to get into.
Hawaii that'd be fun. Is that even going abroad though? Technically, I feel like that's not even going abroad.
It isn't, but the reason why they had this program is so you get a cross culture experience.
Yeah.
And our volleyball coach is actually from Hawaii, so he takes the group over there. And it's not like a type of Hawaii that you think of when you first think of
Mhm.
Hawaii. They stay in like these local villages. And he has family over there, and like they stay with them, so they get like cross culture experience with that.
Yeah, I didn't know that you guys had like a requirement where you have to go overseas to graduate. Like we don't have that at Muhlenberg, but like I feel like if we did have that, I probably would choose the holiday tournament too, because at that point I'd be going overseas for 3 weeks.
Best of both worlds. So I think that's why we usually do the holiday tournament, because our
Mhm.
coach, these kids are already going to go either
Yeah.
Europe or South America, somewhere like that.
Yeah. And I know for like the worst part for us and like our trips getting canceled was that like our girls team went and we're like, yo, like why is the girls team going? Like, why can't we go? I'm like, what the fuck? Like I know like he's trying to get something scheduled, but it's just so hard right now with COVID.
Yeah.
Going back to like the NCAA tournament, I mean, we're from South Jersey. How was playing Rowan in the first round? How cool was that for you?
It was pretty cool. I knew a couple of kids on the team still. So before the game, going over, dapping them up, talking to them for a little bit. So that was unique. And, the best part about it is too, now that we won. So I have the ultimate
Yeah.
bragger where I see them. So that's also awesome.
What was that reaction like when your guys are watching the bracket come out and like you see Rowan? What was your first reaction?
Well, to be honest with you, my first reaction was like, "Oh shit!" They're really athletic. They can get up and down. Like if they turn us over and they can get some easy fast break points, like we might
Mhm.
be in trouble. But then 10, 15 minutes goes by, and it's like, you know what? Like, nah, this is the matchup we want. A team that's never seen how we play, our style, the zone that we play. So we were very confident and very happy because we thought that was our best matchup for the first round.
I know like I've seen a lot of NJAC games just watching like Nikki and Robbie grow up and like play in the NJAC. I feel like their style of play is like a lot different than the style of you guys play. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I think, the NJAC, not to knock off the landmark or anything, but I think
Yeah.
the NJAC has a lot more athletic basketball players. It's a lot more up and down and much more of a one-on-one game.
Mhm.
Just of the games that I've seen, Rowan and Stockton, all that. Whereas the landmark is, more your traditional college basketball, right? You're running a 4-out set or a 5-out set, get some ball movement here, backdoor there, dribble, dribble, reverse to a layup. So it's, very different styles of play. But, it's college basketball.
Mhm. So like the final Division III rankings come out right after the Randolph-Macon won the national championship. And I saw your tweet and I was like, oh, I want to see what is he talking about? Kind of break down your reaction to seeing the final 25 rankings and why you think that Susquehanna should be in the top 25.
Yeah. So my initial reaction to seeing it, I should probably start saying I was down in Putacana for spring break with a bunch of my teammates. And then it was late night. Bob Quillman released, his top 25, and we got a couple of drinks in us. So we were feeling good. And, we saw that we weren't on it. And at first, we thought we were, a little disrespected. We felt that we were one of the last 32 teams that were still playing in the tournament. We won 16 of our last 17 games. We thought that we should at least, if not in the top 25, maybe an honorable mention, because he didn't even give us an honorable mention as well.
No, I feel like a lot of these rankings, like they go so much off of like numbers and computers because like they can't watch possibly every Division III game. Like they're not just aired like that.
Yeah,
So I feel like he
it's
doesn't
hard.
really know a lot of these teams, a lot of these great players that he just doesn't see because he's constantly just watching the top 25 teams and the teams who get honorable mention. Do you think the same
Right.
thing?
Yeah, and and to that point, I also think in this particular case, it was Bob Quillman, who does tremendous things for D3 hoops coverage. It's one of the gurus for D3 hoops, but he follows mostly Illinois Wesleyan basketball and teams in that conference, and mostly more, I feel like, Midwest. And there's just so many schools, small schools in PA and New York and New Jersey that he can't possibly really know any of the players or what that team actually is, because I can guarantee he's never really watched any of them play.
I'm going to read your tweet right here. You said, respectfully, this list is garbage. Susquehanna men's basketball deserves more respect. Not only did we give number 3 CNU some trouble, but we held the team to nearly 20 points under their season average in the NCAA tournament. Not to mention we have 2 All-Americans, but we're used to the disrespect. Like, did this kind of like disrespect kind of like power the season though for you guys at the same time?
Yeah. And his argument was our strength of schedule was very weak. And it was, it was like 200 and something. But
But
I
that's
just
also
thought,
not always your choice. That's the thing. Like you have to
exactly,
play these games against these conference teams. It's like not your fault that the rest of the like some teams in your conference just aren't that good. Like it's not nothing you can do about it.
exactly. And we had a couple out of conference games got canceled. Teams getting COVID, couple games. There's actually been couple teams in our conference that had some COVID issues. So we had some games get canceled, some postponed. So we had to find some quick replacements for those games. And sometimes, they're not going to be, it's not going to be the best competition, but you still need to get games in your schedule.
And the thing that was most puzzling for me about the list was how Rowan was ranked ahead of you after you literally just beat them. Like you proved that you're the better team. And they're like, yeah, no, you're not. And then I'm like, how does that make any sense? Like, did you not like you can look at a box score and you can tell that you guys were the better team.
Right. I think, that's what really ticked us off the most. No disrespect to Rowan at all. And I should have mentioned, they were missing a starter that game. He was suspended, but
That's also that was some decision that he was not a
right.
good one.
Yeah. We won't talk about that, but we beat them by about 20 points. The scoreboard doesn't show up, but it was way bigger margin of
I
victory
was
than that.
watching the beginning of the game, and you guys were killing them, like
Yeah.
killing them. I was watching them like it's over. It's already over.
And in the second half, we kind of went like a prevent defense, in football.
Mhm.
So we weren't as aggressive, and they were able to, claw back a little bit. But we just, controlled the game from start to finish. Like I said, we beat them by nearly 20 points. We actually held them to 15 possessions less than their season average. So I thought that, head-to-head matchup has to count for something, holding them to under their season average of possessions by nearly 15 and almost being by 20. I just thought, we should be ranked ahead of them. We also have 2 All-Americans nonetheless. So that was, what we were really most mad about. We were, a little ticked off about not being top 25.
And it's not like you guys came out the next game and you guys played the number 3 team in the country and you guys played them close. You guys proved that you should be in that spot. You're in this game. And also I think that game proves to me at least that you're at least in consideration for the top 25, if not in the top 25.
Yeah, I mean, we first 10 minutes of the game were leading. That definitely had CNU rattled a little bit. They started playing their game. They got settled in. And then the last 10 minutes of the game, we made a little run, made it close. They were turning the ball over, which they usually don't do, making dumb passes that they don't do. So we gave them a game. We made them fall. It wasn't going to be like, oh, we're playing Susquehanna cakewalk, just put us in the Sweet 16 already. But no, we fought them. We gave them a game. And my freshman year too, we went out to Wittenberg, Ohio, and we played Wittenberg. And at the time, they're the number 8 team in the country, and we lost them by 4. So I just thought, it's a testament to some of those guys that were on that team against Wittenberg playing against another top-ranked team and battling them again. I just thought, we got to have some type of respect. Maybe not top 25, but a top 30 team.
At least get an honorable mention in there.
Right.
In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you finish in the top 32 teams in the country. There's no point. You're a top 30 team. That's
right.
A fact.
That's my logic at least, but
yeah,
not everyone's obviously.
Final question here. How is that going to motivate you guys for next year? And what are your expectations for next season?
Yeah. So that, that's going to motivate us, a shit ton. Actually, like I said before, our first goal this past season was to win the Landmark Championship. Then our second goal was actually to get to the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
So, right now we thought, even though we did win the Landmark, we didn't really win, anything. We didn't do what we wanted to do. And actually our first postseason lift, our lifting coach, Coach Kitch, awesome lifting coach. And it's kind of hard for D3s to find really good strength and conditioning.
They come and leave so fast.
Yeah, because the good ones, they get picked up by the D1s and they leave right away. But this guy basically told us, he sat us down and said, "Look, listen, you guys didn't win shit. You lost, the second round of the NCAA tournament. If you're happy with that, then leave the weight room right now." So I think, that's our mentality going forward. That, we won the conference, but that can't be satisfied from that. We gotta keep pushing, try to get further and further into the NCAA tournament. And it's hard for these small teams out here in PA trying to get deep in the tournament. As once you go out to the Midwest teams, there's not many D2s. So those kids are either playing D1 or D3, and they're huge. When we played Wittenberg my freshman year, the smallest kid that played was 6'2". So they have the size, they have athleticism, they have good ballers. So we know, we have the odds kind of stacked against us being a smaller school in the middle of Pennsylvania, but we won't let that stop us. We know that we got to keep grinding, keep pushing, stay together, and try to make, a Sweet 16, a Elite 8 run, maybe a Final 4, because that's the ultimate.
Yeah, I want to thank Pat for coming on today. It's been a great conversation hearing about your guys' season this year, expectations for next year. Thank you again for coming on. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me, man. It was great catching up with you and fun conversations.
Yeah, for real. It was really great catching up with Pat today. Haven't gotten to catch up with him for a while since the game that we played, Susquehanna at Susquehanna. We got into some really good stuff today. One conversation that I really particularly liked was when we were talking about how people don't realize the amount of work that goes into Division III sports in general. Some people come in the beginning and think that they're going to get by like high school, show up to practice, show up to the scheduled team lift. But there's so much more that goes into that. You got to put in way, way more effort than ever before playing a sport. And I think a lot of people disregard that because we're not getting scholarship. We're not on the same level, the same promotion that the Division I players get. And I really think that gets lost. And I kind of want to give Division III players the recognition that they deserve for how much effort and time they put into the game. Because, like Pat said, you truly love the game if you're playing Division III, and I really think that's a fact. I just want to let you guys know next week's guest is going to be my roommate, current fraternity brother in the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity, Brandon Osborne. He is currently on the Muhlenberg men's soccer team. We're going to get into, his soccer career, the differences between American and then European styled soccer. Really, really looking forward to that episode. Also, you want to give me a follow on social media. On Twitter, you can find me at Matt_Kempter. On Instagram, it's just at Matt Kempter. I'm going to give you guys more podcast updates on there, throw some clips on the gram, on Twitter. Just give me a follow to stay up to date with the D5 podcast. And be sure also to tune into other episodes of the Overseas Famous podcast. You can find us on Apple Music. Thanks for listening and see you next episode.